What up, y'all? It's your boy, the one and only A-Switch, aka the undisputed, uncontested social distancing champion, aka why his nipples so hard. Can't. AKA the buttermilk bastard. AKA the nigga lip master. Bringing you yet another episode of Switches Sights. Switches Sights is my solo gaming podcast where I talk about just that. Today's date is May 6th. May 6th. I confuse myself. May 6th. May 6th. 5th, 6th. All right, let me stop dwelling on that. May 6th, 2021. Yeah, man. The world. The current state, hey. We striving and surviving, I would assume. I'm a little concerned. I feel like we may be opening up way more sooner than we should. But, hopefully that vicious cycle does not start again. But I digress. What else outside of that? Nothing much. News-wise, I don't know, this week is somewhat steady, I'd say. Just had some interesting topics to discuss as well. Also, happy Resident Evil 8 Eve. That's a holiday. Look it up if you haven't. It is. If you look up the imaginary book of these nuts. Let me stop. I need to. Somebody stop me. So ignorant. Let me stop. Yeah. Other than that, I say pretty good week. Some very interesting topics to talk about. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Let me get my codes. Gotta get my codes. I just got to. First topic of discussion. Discord. You know that company that was trying to get itself chose. Discord was trying to get chose was what's the term? I guess it's mainly associated in the Twitter universe, if you will, but a pick me, if you will. I don't know the exact vernacular, but Discord. Basically, I think they were trying to get bought by Microsoft, but that fell through some way, shape, or form. But what do you know, out of nowhere, PlayStation just swiping people up. But it was like Evo, now Discord. PlayStation is partnering up. They announced, I believe Monday, partnership with Discord. For those that may possibly not know, but I mean, it's like if you're, I guess, well, I don't know. I guess some people it's possible, but for those that may not know, I'd be very amazed if you didn't. But Discord, very popular platform that users communicate, mainly used for games, but I see and notice now it's starting to expand more. Like it is, a lot of people, non-gamers alike, are starting to use it. I think like even like in business settings and stuff now too, which is kind of crazy, surreal. But I think Discord is also trying to tend to those audiences as well, or customers, in terms of trying to, make that more appealing as well, to those folks. So, but at least initially, it's generally known to be like I'd say, yeah, at this point, like probably the most popular gaming communication platform there is. I think there used to be like TeamSpeak. I feel like that was generally more associated specifically with Counter Strike and like just general PC games. But um, yeah, Discord I think is just the one that kind of hit it out the park. I guess I guess you could say Discord is kind of like, I guess this is more subjective than anything. Discord is kind of like the Facebook of communication platforms. I think that's a safe statement to make. It's like everybody has it. Um, I mean, I guess there could be some things that could be improved, but for the most part, I'm pretty satisfied with Discord. I hopped on Discord late as well. I want to say I started getting on it like maybe back in, is it 2015, 16-ish, I want to say. I didn't use it much then, but in the more recent years now, with a lot of friends and stuff on there, that's when I started at least getting on there a little bit more. But yeah, so this is pretty huge. Personally, I saw this coming, to be honest. I think, I mean, especially considering now that games are becoming more integrated across platforms now, with the very welcomed and appreciated cross-play integration, now that competing companies are playing nice with games being able to play multiplayer on across different platforms, which is just the most beautiful thing. And it when you think about it, it was such an arbitrary, like, just petty thing to do, but now it's kind of starting to become a standard for the most part. Like, generally the most popular games known to man are do have crossplay, which more than likely that trend will keep going, now that, like, at least the two big competitors, Sony and Microsoft, are playing nice now. But all in all, that was my issue with crossplay that was introduced. Like, I guess technically you have game chat, but now with cross-platform play, you always have the issue of just having a centralized platform that people on PC use as well as people on console use, and be able to both utilize that, where a lot of people are on across different platforms. Like, Billy has an Xbox and Tommy got a PS4 or whatever, because because PS5s are always out of stock. But yeah, so I think all in all, it just makes the user experience that much more streamlined and accessible, which is definitely appreciated. Hopefully Xbox potentially follows suit. They do kind of have some very, like, I'm just gonna say it, like, based straight up half-assed integration, where it's it is, it'll tell Discord like what if you're playing a game on Xbox, but that's really it. Is no other direct association or integration at all. It's just oh, he's playing Master Chief Collection on his on Xbox. It could definitely be better. So hopefully this might light a fire under Microsoft to potentially follow suit, and get in some of that cross-play communication goodness, which I do hope, because, man, it would make I think life for a lot of people on different platforms much easier. So here's to a much better, streamlined, and accessible future where pretty much every multi-platform game is cross-play, and hopefully, you know, people don't call you the N-word on there, you know, in a perfect world, but I don't know. I really hope that that doesn't happen. But I mean, that's kind of rare. Why would you go and randomly go on people's servers and call people the N-word? That's messed up. I mean, if you are that person, I don't even know what to tell you. Stop. Don't just throw everything away. Everything you own, throw it away. I'm talking to you. I don't know who is that directed to. I believe this is gonna come into play next year, or I believe they said the plan is to fully get this up and running next year, the beginning of next year. So probably around January, February of 2022. But I mean, it doesn't look like it. It looks like it's like legit integration where you're literally will be able to communicate with people who are, you know, on Discord on their PC or their on the app on their smartphones. So yeah, that is a wonderful thing, man. You love to see it. You love to see it so much. You really do. Thank you, PlayStation. You made the right choice. You really did. Okay. Yeah. So, moving on. Okay. Microsoft, putting in that work. I mean, one thing you gotta give Microsoft credit for, if it's anything, is them putting in that effort into preservation. That does not sound right at all. Preservation, with their backwards compatibility program, which is pretty substantial. And then first, what they announced that, like, hey, you can, you know, Gears 3, you could play it at 4K now. What type of wizardry? How, Microsoft, what are you doing? How is this possible? Just some random dude just amazing, just shocked and amazed. I can't believe it. Microsoft, what is this? So there was that, and then what else came into play? It was some of the game, yeah, some of the backwards compatible games got upscaled to 4K, and I feel like there was something else that was substantial for backwards compatibility. Maybe it wasn't, but I guess either way, now Microsoft is doing a pretty dope thing called FPS boost, which I think we talked about in a previous episode, that I think premiered at Microsoft's like event for that was at least geared towards developers. I forgot what it was called, but I know a few games started getting it, but now Xbox just let it all out. Just let it all out. Just let it all out. So pretty much a huge amount of games now have FPS boost. At least at the first, it was started out as a rumor, but it looks now to be more legit. And just a reminder of what FPS boost is that pretty much most old school and new in terms of Xbox games generally, I guess it varies game to game, but generally are at least 30 FPS or 60 FPS. With FPS boost, at least the idea concept is to natively increase the FPS of a game. Like, let's say a game that's 30, you can potentially boost it to 60, or if it's even 60, you can boost it all the way up to 120. Things like that, which is pretty damn dope. It's like it's like the best of both worlds to an extent. It's like being on the PC side without without dealing with all the potential. I'll say that potential troubleshooting and issues you may run into with PC, but it's a beautiful thing, man. But 97 games now support FPS boost on Xbox, which is pretty damn crazy. It was a few, I want to say like 20 or so that got announced earlier. At least a lot of EA's titles like Battlefield, Titanfall 1 and 2, and so on and so forth. But man, they just went off. You hear me? They went off with this backwards compatibility. It's a huge ass list, but I'm gonna touch on a few at least that pique my interest. Pretty much a lot of the Assassin's Creed collection has been boosted to 60 FPS. I think they were generally around 30. Assassin's Creed 3 remastered, Rogue remastered, the Ezio collection, Unity, Battlefield 1 and 4 boosted to 120 FPS. It does vary between the Series X and the Series S. So if it's 120 on Series X, in some cases it may still stay on the Series S, but it potentially could be some disparity between the two, depending on the game, I would assume. But at least it's very apparent in terms of the listing here. Also, that's crazy. Battlefield 1, 4, Hardline, 5, all boosted to 120 FPS on the Series X. You love it. You love to see it. Freaking Yakuza 6. For me, that's pretty big, because Yakuza, I vividly remember, only ran at 6 or 30 FPS, at least on PlayStation. But now with it being ported to Xbox on Game Pass, 60 FPS. Ooh, that buttery smooth. Make you want to put it on a damn biscuit. I kind of want to just dabble in it just to see how good it looks. That's definitely probably one of the biggest for me. Titanfall, the original Titanfall, as well as Titanfall 2, like I mentioned before, they are boosted to 120 FPS. I tried, those were one of the earlier ones, I believe, but I tried it out, and I'm not sure if you have to activate it in the menu for the game. I would assume they just have it enabled by default, but that might be something I need to check on, because I'm in the flight program. I forgot what they call it, the beta flight program, where basically you get earlier firmware builds of the Xbox operating system before the general public does, and you can choose like how earlier you want, where you potentially may deal with more issues and whatnot. But I'm not sure if maybe that potentially could factor in. We'll see. Fallout 4, 76, 60 FPS. I think they generally were 30. What are some other pretty much all of the Far Cry games? 4, 5, New Dawn, Primal, 60 FPS. Gears of War 4. They must be talking about specifically the campaign, because I think I remember the campaign being 30. I'm pretty sure, because I know the multiplayer was 60, but the campaign was 30 or something like that. So that's cool. Golf with your friends. It's 120 FPS. Something about that is just funny to me. It's like, but I mean, when you think about the practicality of it, that does kind of make sense. It's cool either way. What are some other ones that stood out? Pretty much all the damn Lego games. A lot of them are 60, some are 120. It's like a mixed bag. Some are 120, some are 60. My Friend Pedro. That's a pretty dope game if you've not played it. I think it's still on Game Pass. It may have lapsed, but 120 FPS. My goodness, that game. Basically like Max Payne if Max Payne and Hotline Miami. Yeah, if you Max Payne and Hotline Miami had a baby, you have My Friend Pedro. What else? Smite 120, Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition and 60, Super Hot 120, Skyrim 60 FPS, The Evil Within 2 60 FPS, The Division 60. It's crazy. Watch Dogs 1 and 2 60. Yeah, so pretty good. Alien Isolation as well. Man, pretty damn awesome. I mean, you gotta give Xbox credit where credit's due. Just not even letting you play the backwards compatibility, which I mean, more or less that's kind of like a thing that should be a default, of course, but even going further than that, but optimizing some of these games, which I'm always definitely a proponent for, trying to play these older titles the best way you possibly can, which Microsoft is definitely doing it right in that respect. Hopefully PlayStation takes some notes in that regard, but you love to see it. It's so good. It's so great. So great. I'm probably going to try some of these. Well, maybe not this weekend with Resident Evil Village coming out, but I love the potential. Hopefully, like I guess there weren't really any 360 games on here. Maybe, but you never know. Come E3, they might drop that bomb. All 360 titles games are now backwards compatible with 120 FPS support. We don't know how we did it, but we did it. Like, what? How does that work? Teach me your ways. I need to know. I must know. Tell me. I'm dying to know. He's a wizard. He's a wizard, Harry. Moving on. Konami. What does that invoke emotion wise to you when you hear that word Konami? Probably pain. Pain is probably if I could think, pain is probably a general consensus, I'd say. Pain, disappointment, anguish, disgust. Dude, should I go on? I won't. I think I've gotten my point across. So Konami, there has been we've discussed, there's been a lot of rumors in regards to potential IPs, or of course established iconic IPs like Silent Hill and Metal Gear. The murmurings are going around that potentially there is going to be a remake or continuation. I think more so remake for Metal Gear and a continuation of Silent Hill, or I think there was both. I think there was rumors that there was both a continuation of Silent Hill as well as a reboot in some weird way and how that was going to work. But nonetheless, with that being in mind, it's this kind of sweetens the tea, if you will, in terms of a tweet from Konami recently, basically in a statement. Let me get my I gotta sit for this. Okay. I'm trying. Whew. Okay. Due to timing, we will not be ready to present at E3 this year. We want to reassure our fans that we are in deep development on a number of key projects. So please stay tuned for some updates in the coming months. While we are not participating this year, we have great respect for the ESA and know that 2021 will be a great success. We will continue to support the ESA and wish the best to all participants at this year's show. Oh, that gets me every damn time. So I guess what's interesting is, what's interesting is Konami actually announcing that they aren't coming to E3, which in turn, I mean, considering that I don't think Konami necessarily had a presence these past couple of E3s. Well, the ones that were actually, though disregarding the one that was canceled, but I don't think they necessarily had a presence at E3s, unless I guess they're maybe, promoting their damn pachinko machines. Shouts out to what's his name? I gotta do it. Push the lever. Jim Sterling. I don't think they I don't recall them, at least, of course, for sure, from a video. Oh no, they did. You're right. Damn, yeah, because they did recently come out with Contra, and boy, oh god, we know how bad that game is. What else? It was Contra. Oh yeah, they still are doing that football game or soccer in the U.S. Pez, I think it's called. I think they were still doing the soccer games as well. So I guess they had a very small, gaming presence, but yeah, nothing close to what it used to be in a Kojima inhibited company. But no, we got Pez, and we got what is the damn Pez and Contra booty op. Contra Booty Ops 4. Oh man, I don't know about you. I'm trying to play this Contra Booty Ops 4. Whew. The butt cheek physics. Butt cheek physics are to die for, man. The booty clap mechanics, what? Get out of here. I don't like what I'm making right now. Let me stop. So yeah, I mean, I guess it doesn't confirm nor deny the rumors, but I feel like maybe a little bit more so confirms, because I think people are very much hyped up about the potential of, Metal Gear coming back, as well as Silent Hill as well. Of course, with the biggest indicators like freaking what's her name? Is her name Sarah? The main protagonist from Silent Hill 1. Sarah Mason, I think. And Pyramid Head, of course, in both in Dead by Daylight. So I mean, yeah, I think Konami would be dumb to not acknowledge and or still churn those IPs out in some way, shape, or form, whether it be like the rumors of Sony potentially just buying or partnering with Konami for exclusivity and fronting up the cost to have it developed and stuff like that, or what. But I don't know, man. I guess we'll see. Time will tell. Maybe might get something. Maybe Konami might do its. I guess this could potentially be perceived as Konami just doing their own thing. But the fact that they say they really reinstated, we have great respect for the ESA and know that 2021 will be a great success. Yeah, I guess not. We'll see. Maybe they might, but I feel like if they did, they would want to associate with E3, which is the biggest platform where all eyes are generally, and attention is on. So we'll see, I guess. We'll see. Moving on. Um, if I can type, if I can type. So, Judgment. I missed it. Judgment. Um, Pretty much Yakuza. Well, I guess pretty much Yakuza. Uh, what's gonna be Yakuza going forward now, considering the success that was Yakuza 7. Is was apparently leaked. The sequel was leaked on PSN, I believe the Japanese store. And yeah, so I think well, this was before there was like a week or like some primer or whatever, like a week before, where they're doing a giveaway on their Twitter, Ryuga Gotoku Studios, regarding Judgment. Well, they called it Judgment Day. Oh, that does sound cool. Judgment Day. So it wasn't really apparent or clear what it was going to be, but I know a lot of people were speculating that it was going to be the PC port of Judgment, which currently has this weird, I guess, at least what everybody's assuming, exclusivity clause with Stadia of all freaking platforms. Freaking Stadia. I mean, sure, you got exclusivity for Stadia over Steam, so they must have paid them a pretty ass penny for that, but I digress. Yeah, so people were thinking that maybe we would get a announcement for the release date for the PC version, which is pretty much, it's the only version. I don't think it came out on Xbox yet. So I guess, yeah, technically outside of PlayStation 5, I think it is on Xbox. I'm pretty sure. Let me fact check real quick. Pretty certain. Judgment. Yeah, because I think along the PlayStation 5 version, the Series X version. Yeah, it is on Series X. Okay, so Series X and PS5, but you have to buy it again if you want to upgrade it to from PS4 to PS5, which is dumb. It's stupid. Poop. So yeah, we got the picture. It's funny as hell. On the picture, I can't do it justice, but you got Yagami. It looked like he peeping in somebody's door while they sleep. he got the doors open and he like, hey, so hey, we got some cases to solve. You got something I need to solve right now. Oh, let me. I'm on a case. So what? I didn't even tell you to go. I didn't even tell you to solve anything. I'm on a case. Don't worry about it. So yeah. I pretty much saw it coming. I feel like with Ryuga Gotoku Studios, I think we'll see. I think it's likely gonna play out like this, where Yakuza is now gonna be a turn-based JRPG, and then Judgment is gonna be what Yakuza used to be, as a traditional beat 'em up action adventure type game. Which, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I'm okay with. I understand if Ryuga Gotoku Studios has to expand, flesh out, spread their wings, if you will. It's just unfortunate that I just love me that classic beat 'em up Yakuza formula that Yakuza has been known for up until Yakuza 7. So it hurts a little bit, but it's okay. I'll be all right. I'll live. The title though, that's the title is interesting. Lost Judgment. I feel like that's more accurate. You're like you're uncertain about it. Lost judgment. You're not sure yet of what if you should judge or not. Lost judgment. Oh man, I want this game to have an announcer that freaking says it exactly like every time. That's a must. That's a must. Ryuga Gotoku Studios, if you listen, please, I beg of you. I beg of you. Just do that for me. I mean, I could give you this. Lost Judgment or Lost Judgment? I need that in my life. I really do. I really, really do. And then in Japan, I know that the title is different where it's Judge Eyes, but for the West, it's Judgment. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. Lost Judge Eyes? It's like, what does that mean? Wow. Yeah, I guess maybe if it's mistranslated, but interesting title. I'm curious to see what hopefully 30-second trailer may give us a little insight on what that means. So because you got Yagami peeping in somebody's door, and then you got the title Lost Judgment? Or kind of like Friendship. Lost Judgment? Judgment? I don't know. It'll probably grow on me, I would assume, but interesting either way. I definitely hope we get some Yakuza character cameos. At least from the main game. They were kind of tame, but I want some deep ones. Give me some deep ones. I want to see Kiryu like killed a dude with his fists. Well, no, oh my god, that would be actually pretty dope, because the ongoing discussion in terms of the Yakuza community, in terms of has Kiryu killed a man, where in a lot of cases it's pretty apparent he killed some people. That would be so damn that would be ultimate fan service. Yeah, like it'd be like a sub story, or I forgot, I think they're called Cases in Judgment. Kiryu is confronted about this, like, we've seen you kill all these people, Kiryu. What do you have to say for that? And then what? It'd be like Yagami's trying to stand up for him, or telling him to say what he should say. Come on, Ryuga Gotoku Studios, please do this. That'd be great. That'd be so good. I need it. Please do it. That would be good. I would really like that. Just to have a little slight more integration or fan service for fans of the Yakuza games would be pretty dope. It seems like they're generally trying to stay to their own thing, not trying to muddy up the waters, I guess. But I think it'd be pretty cool, especially considering now that the next Yakuza will probably stick to the RPG, I guess motif now. So cool. Hey, as long as I can beat somebody up, I'm fine. Okay, as long as I can kick somebody in the face, I'm fine. I'm satisfied. Now I can kick people in the face in the name of justice. So I don't feel as bad now. I don't feel as guilty. Right? I don't feel as guilty. Even justice. Oh man, I love it so much. Cool. We got a sequel, guys. We got a sequel to Judgment. Now we can continue judging people. I love it. I love it so much. Moving on. Man, some pretty sad news. So Giant Bomb, pretty much three of the, I guess you could say, was somewhat founding, uh, I guess, founding people of Giant Bomb, more or less, are leaving. Vinny Caravella, Alex Navarro, Brad Shoemaker. They announced in a podcast, their Giant Bombcast, I want to say Tuesday nightish, that they're all leaving, which is that's pretty sad. But I mean, it seems like it's generally like, I think they got bought by another company. They got sold from CBS and bought by um, I think it was some marketing company, Red Media or something like that. Which I would assume there that entails a lot of iffiness, weirdness, and restructuring and all that lovely stuff that gets entailed with that. But at least at the end of the day, they are leaving, which is crazy. And I guess what makes that all the more, like, I guess, crazy is how gradually some of the other folks that have been generally associated with Giant Bomb for so long leaving as well, like Ben Pack, who else? Dan Riker, who's doing his own thing now, and a couple other people. But generally, I think for people that have been following at least games media for so long, like, I think you generally could see Giant Bomb as, like, I mean, for the most part, being like one of the founding companies that kind of did games media now, well, games media now before like Twitch and stuff are doing it now, if that makes sense, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. They kind of were like Twitch before Twitch, really, in terms of like their content producing and stuff like that, which is, at least for me, definitely has been an inspiration in terms of especially this podcast and things like that. So it's pretty sad, just seeing an end of, like, what feels like an end of an era, as somebody who's been a fan of their podcast and generally their content as well. So hope they all, wish them all the best in terms of their future endeavors and what they do plan on doing afterward of Giant Bomb, and definitely want to thank them for the good times, the comfort, the what's the word, the damn it, what am I looking for, the reassurance, maybe, I don't know, presence, that's a good one. Yeah, so had to give them a shout out, because, man, I know a lot of people are devastated, but I mean, at the same time, they've been, man, a lot of them been with the company for like 10 years. I mean, more like almost 20 years for some of these people, which is crazy. Like, their children have grown up like with them, and it's kind of surreal when you think about it. But yeah, so crazy stuff, man. And I guess what's interesting too is, like, it kind of brings up another, I guess, topic about, like, where media and gaming media is kind of going now too, where it's like, what is the word? I don't know. It's like, I feel like generally Twitch is kind of, well, let me rephrase, like, our generation, this new generation is kind of, is starting like a new, I guess, theme, if that makes sense, where it's like, it feels like drastically different than, the olden days and like the Giant Bombs and stuff now, where it's like, it seems like media is going in a more different direction, which I know they've kind of discussed. That's kind of a factor as to, I guess, potentially why they've stopped, and as well as the internet being the internet, in terms of people and whatnot, and you know, trolls being trolls. So, which is unfortunate as well. You know, you think about just the times that are changing now, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, I guess. You know, I guess so. But yeah, outside of that, I think that concludes all of the news for this week. So let's get into what I've been playing, which, oh my God, it's been a lot, to be honest. It has been a lot. Specifically, Monster Hunter Rise. So with that new update that dropped, put some decent time into it. I'm level 33, I think. Where pretty much I beat, who did I beat? What is the new monsters? There's the freaking what is his name? I don't remember his name. Actually, is this what I talked about last episode? Maybe I misremembered. I don't think I did play after that. Or did I? I don't think I did. Maybe I did. Maybe this was this is a figment of my imagination. I guess not. So I thought I did, but I guess I did. But outside of that, I did play Returnal, which is one of the first, I guess, big PlayStation 5 exclusives, I guess, to come out since launch. I think that's safe to say. Yeah, I played about 3-4 hours, I want to say. Not necessarily too much, but let me get on my soapbox real quick. I don't know if this could be attributed to the PlayStation 5 or Returnal. I feel like it's more on Returnal than the PlayStation 5, but either way, let me give you a little bit of backstory before this. So got Returnal. I was like, let me go up, try this, play this out, whatever, and put the disc in PS5. So physical. Put the disc in the PS5. It, for some reason, it wasn't copying. So, what would a person of common sense do if on the screen it says to copy or install whatever? So that's what I did. I hit copy install, and when it did it, I think it was getting all the way up to, I want to say 80-90%, and then pretty much shortly after that, it then gave me an error saying we can't install this, or it shot some weird error, I think. But then I think while I was installing and copying, I was also downloading the latest update for the game. So that was another issue in of itself. But yeah, so I was like, okay, the game's not installed. So I kept trying to install and it wasn't installing. It kept giving the error. So I was like, okay, let me just fully restart the PS5. So I did that, restarted it, and then tried it again, and then it did not work. So I end up looking this error up that it gave me. It said, basically, when I looked it up, the guy was like, this is the simplest shit ever. Basically, you don't tell it to copy. You wait like generally 15 to 20 minutes or so, and then it'll naturally just copy on its own. Which is like, what? Why? All right. Okay, whatever. So it then fully copied over. So like, cool. All right. So we good. So I then get around to actually playing the game. And then it had this issue where it wasn't installing the update for it. So the update would download, but it wouldn't, said it's some error that it can install or something. I'm like, okay. So then I looked this up, and then they say basically you need to play the game first and get to like the ship or something like that. And then after that, the update should apply, that is like, what? That is the weirdest thing ever. But either way, it technically worked, I guess. So it installed that. So with those two things, I was like, all right, this game is getting on my bad side already. I haven't even played the damn game, which, mind you, this hasn't happened with any of the launch games I got when the PS5 came out. Demon Souls and Spider-Man Miles Morales. And I think Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition as well. So I was like, okay, all right. So yeah, so I was like, all right, Returnal, you're you really not giving me a good impression right now. So after all that's out of the way, I was like, okay, I started playing the game. I will say from a gameplay standpoint, it is pretty damn solid. It's very solid. The gunplay does feel pretty good, but I'm not sure how I feel about the roguelike aspect of it. At least some backstory. I am familiar with the rogue like formula where, you know, you have at least the general template is that you are likely, when you die, it's what's the word? There are consequences. Well, I guess in this case, severe consequence where you have to start all over again. But it doesn't feel overwhelming or overbearing or whatever, you know, which is fair. So I've played probably the most, I guess, accessible roguelike I played recently, if any, was Hades, which is, I think, at least my frame of reference going into this. So it does have some same, like, I guess, beats in terms of, you know, having a loop of, you know, I guess, what's the official term for like a run? I think it's a run. I think that's the technical term in terms of like basically an attempt to technically beat the game, but it's like, I don't even think if you beat the game, you technically beat the game, if that makes sense. Yeah, it could, I guess it could kind of get confusing, but I'm not sure of that, but I'm not sure how I feel about the nature of that, where, you know, procedural generated environments and every time is technically different. We'll see, but it does seem to provide some, you know, substantial story beats to kind of like slowly unveil the cover as to why you're in this loop, because that's basically part of the story as well, where they do kind of somewhat slightly explain why this is a loop, but not fully explain it. But, you know, there's enough, there's general explanation with a good amount of intrigue and curiosity as well, like kind of baked in, you know, in addition to that. So, but yeah, the gameplay is pretty solid. I got the melee sword. The weapons feel good. It definitely feels very arcadey, which definitely is up my alley as well. You have a sense of speed and urgency, which is pretty cool. I do like the mechanic. It's a pretty cool mechanic. It's kind of like Gears of War active reload with Halo's reload of alien weapons, if that makes sense, where basically when you overheat the gun, it'll overheat and then give you a Gears of War like active reload, like I guess area where you can hit reload again, and I think it boosts your damage similar to active reload too. So it's kind of like the alien weapon version of active reload, which is pretty cool. They do also have this mechanic, I think it's called adrenaline, where pretty much if you kill all your enemies without taking a hit, it'll boost you'll get random, I think, boosts to your overall stats or something like that, which is a pretty cool incentive to, you know, play the game better. So it's definitely a lot I do like about it. But then comes the news about this. There's, I guess, the recent patch will mess up your saves completely, and then that's another thing too, where I think that's one issue I also have with this game is that you technically can't save, which pretty much I think all of the other roguelites generally do let you save. Um, so, which with this one, they basically Housemark, the developer of this game, basically instructed people to utilize the PS5 rest mode feature, which I mean, for most, I'd say a general amount, a decent amount of people is problematic. Personally, I don't have any issues with rest mode, but I know a lot of people have had issues where when using rest mode, it potentially could brick their console, or some other issues where, yeah, the console won't even wake up. You have to actually turn it off and then turn it on to actually use it and stuff like that. So, I mean, yeah, trying to tell you to rely on somewhat of a unreliable method or mode, I think is probably not the best approach. Um, so, but I mean, I think technically the game does save your progress in terms of permanent progression, where I do feel there are hints of that permanent progressive like items and stuff like Hades, where you do get certain items and they do permanently buff you for your next playthrough and things like that. So it the game does look really good. I heard, I guess apparently it's 1080p or something like that. I guess maybe I'm assuming 1080p upscaled to 4K or something like that, but I don't know, whatever they doing, they are some magical wizards or something, because I like could barely notice. It looks like really good for I guess supposedly 1080p upscaled to 4K, but I guess that's maybe yet to be fully confirmed or whatnot. But it looks like a PS5 game. I'll tell you that much. It's like, man, okay, this is next gen. Yeah, for sure. Trying to think if there's anything. I guess going back to the save thing, I guess the recent update that came out, I want to say yesterday or so, also like is corrupting saves as well of the things you can actually like permanently keep with you on the next playthrough. So it's like, with all that combined, I'm like, all right, that was two strikes. Now this one's like, okay, that's the last strike for me. I'll come back to you at some point, but I don't know. It's just, until y'all get some of this stuff fixed, then I'll probably revisit. But I'm like, I don't have the patience for for this game right now. So yeah, we'll see. But all in all, I did enjoy what I played when I played. But you know, I died through over some BS in terms of some corridor I wasn't aware of, that it felt like it was level gated, where, you know, like it's almost the equivalent of like in Destiny when you go to an area where you shouldn't be, and like they don't even have levels over the head, they have like skulls where it's like you about to fucking die. They just touch you and you dead instantly. Kind of got those vibes. I'm like, all right. I don't know. I'm all right. I'm all right. So, yeah. So that was Returnal. At some point I'll probably revisit it. But what, Resident Evil 8 and other games coming out? Oh, not anytime soon. Speaking of Resident Evil 8, did play the annoying convolutedness of Resident Evil, man. The church/village demo this past weekend, which opened up to everybody now, where previously it was only the PlayStation 5 people. The first week was the village demo, then the next weekend after that was the church demo, but you can only play a half hour within an 8-hour period. But if you put your booty hole in the sky and you prayed to the buttermilk bandit, you would actually get and you put in a cheat code, the classic contra cheat code, you could actually get and play the demo infinitely. But I didn't want to reveal that information yet, but I'm just still reeling over how poorly handled this demo process was. It's just unnecessarily obtuse, but I digress. So, with the demo this past weekend, you could play the Village demo and the Church demo, basically both of the demos that were exclusive the previous week's weekends. You had an hour. Technically, you have an hour to play both of them now up until the release. Since that was another thing I think we talked about already, but they extended the demo to a week now, up until the release of the game tonight. So yeah. So pretty much up until now, you have an hour. You have an hour to play either both the demos, or you can play just the one demo, either Village or the Church demo. So yeah, I did that. I played. Damn, I played probably 3 hours of the demo. I played that shit like crazy. But I was curious to mess with the other versions, so I played. Now that it's multi-platform, now I played the Series X version, the PC version, as well as the PlayStation 5 version again. And I have to say, at least all of them are pretty consistent. Didn't really notice any differences at all. I guess probably maybe the biggest difference, of course, with PC being that you get that buttery smooth utilization of HDMI 2.1, being able to utilize the 120 FPS on a 4K display, which is pretty glorious, I have to say. I was messing with ray tracing on and off with my 3090, and man, it's impressive, I have to say. If you have ray tracing on, you get roughly about 80 to 90 frames in that kind of ballpark. At least I was getting 3090 with i7 7700K. And yeah, man, it's really good. Really, really good. Oh, so buttery. So buttery. I wanted to lick the screen. I really did. But yeah, it was a pretty smooth experience, I have to say. With ray tracing off, got like pretty much a solid 120, which is crazy. I thought they said it would. Well, I don't think they said what the expectations would be, depending on your hardware, just the minimum and recommended specs. But Resident Evil is Resident Evilin', and I was loving it. So, yeah. It was so good. So, yeah. I mean, outside of that, the demos were pretty much the same, just the hour limit. I'm ready. Tonight, I'm ready. So yeah, I don't know why I laughed at this, but I think no, I know what happened. So basically I found out recently that Streets of Rage Remake got a substantial update, version 5.2. I think I played 5.1, but it seemed like that was it, that they weren't working on it anymore, because I know back in 2011, when at least the game initially came out and was announced, I guess, or I think they released a beta or something like that. Come to find out that Sega gave them a good old cease and desist, to basically, which I'm pretty sure just stopped everything. So they stopped working on it, I assumed, or maybe they still were working on it. Well, I guess that was the case, considering that version 5.1 dropped back in 2015-ish, 16, I think. Maybe even earlier. But played that, loved it. It was a couple bugs and issues there, but I guess apparently this 5.2 update came out in like November of last year. I'm like, what? Where was what? I needed to know this, but yeah, straight up version 5.2 of the remake came out. I'm not sure what the relationship is between them and Sega now. I guess maybe they're just being hush hush about it, since I guess it'll explain why I didn't know about it. So maybe that could be it. But either way, they fully updated it. At least a couple of notes was, at least the version before 5.2, you were kind of restricted to 800 by 600 dimensions, where it was basically like 4:3 aspect ratio. And now with updated does give you widescreen support, which is very appreciated, because I mean, if what you ain't living unless you utilize all your screen, you ain't you ain't living until you get until your whole screen is utilized, right? um Huge update there. Notice some of the characters, they added some animations. I know Adam, probably my favorite character of the game, his level 2 star move, I think they did some work on that one, where the animation is completely different and new, as to where it looked very similar to his level 3 star move. So you got that. And then I think this is new, but maybe it was in the previous one. I don't know. But freaking Roo, I was gushing about it on Twitter. Freaking Roo, the kangaroo, he can, at least in the Street Race 3, he could not pick up weapons or use them. But in the remake, at least in this version, 5.2, he can actually pick up an attack with his mouth, holding the weapons in his mouth, whether it be the pipe, a knife. He even got dedicated special moves with the knife. I think just the knife, but it was just the cute little kangaroo got the pipe in it. Well, all right, let's not take it that way, but you know what I mean. Yeah, it was. And then I think some of the other modes I don't think I necessarily messed with in the version before this, but pretty awesome. Like, man, they have the freaking boss rush mode, where pretty much basically a gauntlet of fighting all the bosses. They have it set for each game, Street Rage 1, 2, and 3, and they have a remake version, which I'm assuming is basically collectively all the bosses of all the games, which is, I've not gotten that far. I think I only got silver for that one. But they have a freaking event mode where, you're basically doing challenges, like for example, the elevator level in Street Rage 3, where basically throw city, where you pretty much at least I just try to throw everybody off. That actually is an event where you basically have to throw everybody off. If they die before you throw them off, you fail. And then they have the inverse of that, which is to keep everybody on the elevator, and if somebody does fall off, you fail too. So that's actually been the most challenging for me. I managed to do pretty much every single one, except the one where you have to keep them on the elevator. But man, it's fun, man. Freaking, it's fun. It's fun. It's like, these are clearly fans of the series. You could definitely tell just the heart that went into this game. It's very like, it is damn near perfect in my opinion. Definitely one of my favorite fan games for sure, let alone one of my favorite games of all time. I definitely can confidently say that. I do recommend it if you haven't. If you have a PC, since that's pretty much technically the only platform you can utilize it for. But and I freaking forgot that too. They freaking added achievements, which is pretty dope. I mean, it's of course meaningless considering that this isn't on Xbox or PlayStation, but it's pretty cool. Just something to kind of go for, which is pretty awesome. And hopefully maybe one day Sega may be like, you know what, let's go ahead and put this on platforms. I don't know, but the achievements are pretty fun. It's one I forgot. There's one with basically there's a cheat in the game. In the game has a shop where you can buy games. You can buy cheats like infinite lives and characters and stuff like that. Basically, one of the cheats is to play, I think it's the beta version of Blaze, where pretty much when she's doing the kicking animation, you can see her underwear. We're just like, all right. But basically, there's an achievement if you actually if you kill a final boss with a move that exposes her underwear. You get achievement for that basically, which is like it's creative and funny at the same time. But it's like, all right, sure, okay, I guess. Stupid stuff like that. To kill all the robot Mr. X's, see all the branching paths. I mean, this game is such a damn love letter to the Streets of Rage series for sure, and it's glorious. They added like bike fighting moments where you're riding a bike and fighting. It's so good. They also added the classic soundtrack now. Before they didn't have the classic soundtrack, they just had the remade soundtrack, which I know for some purists they would prefer it. At least myself, I messed with the original soundtrack, and then I after a couple playthroughs, I went to the classic soundtrack, which is damn near 1-to-1 for pretty much every level. They definitely they did some slight restructuring of some of the paths where. I mean, for the most part, Streets of Rage 3 suffered the most, which is, I think, for a lot of people, not that big a deal because, but a lot of it makes sense. They like interwove pretty much all of the games, and then you can also branch out if you want to start in one and then branch out to 1 or 2 or 3. You can do that with the branching paths, which is pretty dope, man. The game is so damn good, man. I cannot recommend it enough. If you're a beat 'em up fan of beat 'em ups, this is one of the best. It really is. I think I've put 20 hours to do it so far since over this weekend. I started playing it. It is good. It's really good, man. So enough gushing about Streets of Rage remake. Something else I was actually getting to. I guess kind of, for the most part, I think it's related, but I'm actually done or doing a hobby outside of video games. I mean, it's crazy to believe, but it's true. And that is, I'm actually hacking or getting a soft modding, hacking, whatever you want to call it. But I'm actually working on modding my PS2. Basically, where for those that don't know, in terms of modding your PS2, you can technically, I guess it's a soft mod. So let me I guess define that real quick for people that may not know. But soft modding is basically a mod that you can do temporarily or as long as you have whatever component. So in the case for a PS2, all you need is a memory card that's loaded with software called FreeMcBoot, which basically will soft mod your PS2 as long as you have the memory card in place when you boot it up. So that's technically soft modding, because if I remove that memory card with that software, it'll revert back to its basic, like it's still a PS2. If you hard modding, well, I guess it's not really called hard modding, but if you mod it, that's like basically generally manipulating a chip on a console or doing something generally physical, like soldering something on the actual board or chip, and definitely involving a lot more work than I'd be willing to do. But after doing some research on it, I'm like, this seems pretty easy, and the benefits are pretty damn great. So pretty much what I did is I got a 2 terabyte hard drive. And you need that if you want to load games off your hard drive, which is much faster than the disc or playing them from the disc. And of course, you can also store a lot of games as well. But the network adapter for the PS2 is IDE, which is ancient now in today's standards. But you can actually get a adapter off Amazon, whatever, that actually is SATA and connects to the PS2 that way. Which basically I wanted the best of both worlds, because you can also mod if you have an existing PS2 network adapter. You can mod the adapter to have a SATA port on it, which was the route I took. At first, I just tried the SATA adapter, but with the SATA adapter you get off Amazon, they don't have a Ethernet capability, which is something you're limited to if you want to try that. Or if you want the network capability, or for example, if you want to play a game online still, which is what I did actually with Resident Evil Outbreak, where I loaded that game on, and then I basically told it where to go, and then was able to get it online, which is man, the I guess nostalgic feels were on a level like no other. It's one thing to play it on PC on a PS2 emulator, but actually playing it on legit hardware, man, it a little piece of my heart was a little tear came out a little bit. No, I'm lying. It was very sentimental, I definitely will say, especially this PS2 I have is literally the PS2 I've had since 2001, which is kind of crazy, man. Like literally most of your life, and then being able to come back to it and play it and breathe new life into it is always fascinated me personally. So definitely part of the reason why I went down this route. But yeah, so modded my PS2 network adapter to be attached to the PS2. So now I can use SATA devices as well as have the network capability. I got my adapter really bent because it came from like China or something, but I was like, all right, let me at least try it. It didn't seem like it would not. The condition it was in didn't seem like it was work, because it was bent all the way out of place, but it straight up did work. I like, wow, okay, or I guess sure. So we had that going, but man, let me tell you some of the woes of this. Like, it's a lot of damn troubleshooting I had to do. I think it'd be easier if you didn't get such a large drive, bigger than 1 terabyte. I think if you're under 1 terabyte, you wouldn't run into the issues I ran into, where basically you had to. There's some software on the PC you can get to format it to actually play nice, but I think because the drive is too big, it in this software is pretty ancient. It didn't see it properly or couldn't actually format it properly. So the workaround you had to do, I'm trying to truncate this as much as possible. The workaround you had to do is you had to actually put it in the PS2 and boot it up, and then had to get a custom version of Free McBoot or whatever, and then since that version specialized in formatting larger than 1 terabyte drives, so did that, actually formatted it, and then I ran into some issues there where it didn't seem like it was properly formatted for one way or another, but eventually figured that out, and then had to revert back to the latest version of the firmware, which for some reason I think it messed with the memory card I had, so I had to get another one. And then yeah, eventually figured it out, and then got the hard drive working, was able to load the games on, and then somewhat enjoy it. And it was glorious, really glorious. Being able to play these games and, you know, get all the cool art and well, yeah, mainly the art, and kind of have somewhat of a, I don't know, cool experience was pretty awesome. The payoff was more or less worth it. I think it depends on your preference and patience with these things, but I'd say just pretty fascinating, pretty interesting to kind of mess with, and, you know, at least for somebody from an IT standpoint, at least get a better understanding and figure out how some of these systems work in general. which is pretty cool. But it was pretty fun. One of my favorite consoles all time, breathing more life into it and making it more optimized for me to play down the road is pretty fun, I have to say. So I think I found my new hobby, which is technically not outside of the realm of video games, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. I think I'm not sure if I mentioned, but I was hacking some of my other consoles before on and off, like my Nintendo Wii and the Wii U recently as well. But they didn't feel as worth it because at least for the Wii U, I really wanted to, like, at least my ideals was to have played Nintendo DS games, because like clearly that'd be perfect to, like, where you can have the double screen experience. But it didn't really pan out that way. It seems like, at least as of now, software or at least a dedicated DS emulator is not really up and running as of yet. So maybe a couple years down the road, may revisit it, but still fun experience either way. Probably my next plan after PS2, which I'm still running some issues where I'm ideally trying to transfer games over the network to the PS2, which has been kind of hit or miss. It was working in some cases, but at least recently I've been trying to do it. It hasn't. So it's been very iffy, which, I guess I kind of expect for like what damn near 20-year-old system. But it's still fun just to kind of tinker and try to get the best version optimized. This I guess legacy relic of time, if you will. But it's been pretty fun. So when I fully figure out the PS2, my plan is probably to start mess with the original Xbox, since at least from some of the research I did, it doesn't seem necessarily that difficult. I know you have to get some specialized discs that have an exploit that lets you, like, basically, get into the system to actually install, custom surf, or I guess technically jailbreak the system. And then being able to actually install again another SATA hard drive where you can technically utilize more storage as well as load games from the hard drive and make it that much faster. So yeah, pretty fun, I have to say. I am enjoying it. It's a little sub hobby, I guess. Something I'm not necessarily don't plan to do all that often, but it was fun, fascinating, insightful to kind of see how your old gaming hardware ticks nowadays. So yeah, outside of that, pretty much, I guess, gaming related wise is what I've been up to. Outside of that, let's get into what I've been watching, which, man, oh man, Invincible season finale. Season finale of Invincible. So, spoilers for Invincible. I think I've been somewhat, I don't think I necessarily spoiled anything, at least previously, but since we've gotten to the finale of season 1, I think this is a safe spot to do so. So again, spoilers for season 1 of Invincible. If you haven't watched it, feel free to leave now. Forever hold your peace. What? Forever hold your, I don't know. You know what I meant. So yeah, season, I think it was episode 7. It's either episode 7 or 8. Either way. Season finale. Whew, man. And then, well, the cliffhanger we were left on the episode before, where so basically Mark finds out that Omni-Man, aka his dad, has been killing everybody, all of these superheroes, to try to conquer Earth. And oh man, this episode is so damn good. My God, man, freaking they have this epic fight, which is basically it's funny, not having any reference to the comics, mind you. At least going into this, didn't know what to expect, but I knew shit was gonna hit the fan one way or another. But I one thing I thought that was gonna happen was at least Mark was gonna put up a fight. But my God, oh man, oh, he got his ass beat. My goodness, oh, that wasn't even right. He was getting his ass beat. Oh man, which I guess is not a huge difference from some of the other episodes where he freaking battle beast. Freaking, oh my, you feel bad for the dude, man. I respect him though. Hey, he gonna fight what he believes in. You could beat his ass. He ain't gonna get deterred one way or another. Man. So pretty much, basically, that's taking me out. How much he got? He was getting his ass beat. You hear me? He was getting his ass whooped. Oh man, he was getting his ass beat. Like pretty much throughout the whole earth. He was getting his ass beat, kicking his ass and fucking throwing his ass through different planets. Well, not planets. They did go actually up in space though. Went up in space. I think just threw his ass back down or something. Or maybe I'm getting that confused with something else. But oh man, it was funny. I was like thinking about it now. Man, he's literally getting his ass whooped. But yeah, so pretty much throughout the fight, he was trying to instill in him like his beliefs and his perspective of, his perspective on conquering Earth and being a Viltrumite, which is a person not of this planet, and kind of their upbringing there. It seems like they breed excellence in any imperfection they want to weed out, essentially. So pretty much that ended up being the scenario where, he knows, Mark knows he's good. He sees the good in everybody, humanity. And then, you have, what's his name? Omni-Man's side where he's more cynical. He's like, these people are weak. Like I can, they're nothing to me. And then, oh my God, he dropped man, he just like, fuck your feelings. Cause, on record, cause he was being recorded. He's like, what about mom? And then straight up saying like, she was basically a pet to me. I'm like, damn, that is cold blooded, man. Like you raised a child with this woman. You both together made a thing. Not to trivialize it, but made a part of you both. And you just said, she was a pet. I was like, damn, that is just cold, like no emotion at all. But straight up, man, just dropping bombs. So yeah, then now the mom's crying, just devastated. And then, Omni-Man just continues to beat his ass. And then of course, probably the most iconic moment of the episode is that as Omni-Man continues to beat Mark's ass, invincible. He's like, you know what? Let me show you. Let me show you death. Let me show you terror. Blah blah blah. Picks up the dude by his head. Ongoing train coming towards him, and then literally just let the train hit his ass, and then just seeing it split apart because they're Viltrumites, an unmovable force. All of them are just getting decimated, and they're just blood is getting all on them, and then people just getting torn apart, decapitated, just all types of gruesomeness known to man. And then he's just engulfing it, and he's just witnessing it firsthand, literally. Blood of everybody is falling. Oh, it's crazy. Oh, that's crazy. I was like, man, this is not it's not your typical Marvel TV show, that's for sure. It was good. It was very good. And then of course towards the end, as oh man, beat the shit out of his ass. Really, he was like literally on his death, last breath. Teeth gone, lips busted, eyes just swole to kingdom come. And then Mark, Omni-Man still trying to steal him. I mean, these people are not gonna be here. We live like, I think they live like for almost forever, pretty much, like and then like we live forever, and these people are gonna be dead in however many years, and you still want to fight for them. He's like, yes, blah blah blah. He's like, what, after all 500 years these people are gone, what are you gonna have? He drops it. He's like, you, dad. Like, oh, you son of a bitch, I can't kill you, I can't. And then he just flees the planet and goes somewhere else. So, and yet to be revealed probably in season 2 or whatever, which is another cool part. They did confirm seasons 2 and 3 are coming, so we gonna get more of that Invincible. I love it. I'm, as somebody not familiar with the comics, I guess somewhat similar to Walking Dead, I am loving it. I part of me don't really want to read the comics, just want to be kind of surprised what happens. So pretty damn good animated series, I have to say. Man, Amazon is the go-to source for M-rated superhero movies, superhero content. It seems like you got The Boys, and now you got Invincible. It's pretty good. Season 1, it's probably one of the best seasons I've watched in television for sure. Man, highly recommend it if you're into superhero movies, superheroes and whatnot, because man, it's good. They definitely touch on some interesting aspects, art angles, like clearly, like we have seen What If Superman Was Evil. They kind of explore that in these things, which is pretty fascinating to kind of think about somebody who has all this power and wants to, or I guess is kind of corrupted by it, more or less. It's pretty fascinating. Loved it. I want more. I want season 2. I want it yesterday. Give it to me right now. I need it, please. Thank you. Outside of that, that's pretty much it. I didn't watch anything else. I was playing too much Streets of Rage version 5.2 because it was so good. I fell in love again with it. On top of, like, it wasn't even in a damn near perfect state, but now it's pretty much close to perfection. And added some of these new components, and now the classic. I couldn't. It's too good. So, outside of that, I think that'll conclude episode 103 of Switches Sites podcast. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you do like or appreciate this podcast, feel free to like, rate, and subscribe on your favorite podcasting platforms. You can also catch me record this live on Twitch TV/aswitch, generally on Thursdays, ideally around 5 to 6. Sometimes it doesn't happen like that, but you can also catch the archives of this podcast as well on youtube.com/aswitch, where I also post them on that channel as well. Until next time, guys, get your game on. Oh yeah. Shit. I'm trying.
nobody's safe.